Well, now that we've got our flowers and our leaves, now it's time to put in just a little short kind of oval sort of kind of vase to go into it, like a dish garden kind of thing. And you want to keep an eye on the shape and where your flowers are. So we're going to have it come down around here like this, and it's going to come up and go right up into there, and that's the shape that we're going to use. I'm just going to use the colors that I have. So I've got yellow and red, and I'm going to go ahead and try to make a nice orangey color with this red and yellow. And of course the dark part first, so you're not going to see the top of it. It's just going to come down like this. And I have to come over this way. Okay, so it's just going to come out like this, and there's nothing fancy. It's just going to have a nice rounded bottom, and the other side same thing, but it's going to be just down the side. This is just to outline it with some, let the paint run out on the brush. And I'm going to fill this in, and then I'll show you how to do the highlights. So I'm just going to fill this in with all that color. Being very careful around the leaves. A little dab of water, since the paint is pretty thick, because I want to be able to get right up next to those leaves. You add a little bit of water, you're able to do that. And kind of give it a nice crisp edge. It's probably the only time I'll actually use the water for that reason, is to kind of smooth everything out. And go back to the colors here. I don't want to use too much water because I want it to partially dry, so I can show you how to do the highlights on this particular vase. That. And around that bottom leaf. Remember, the light's coming down this way. So we're going to need a spot to put some highlight in it. And I know my cluster of flowers is not exactly centered, but that's because I didn't know I was going to make a cluster of flowers to start off with. Well, this is just for practice. This is really good practice for anyone that wants to really get into, and I'm literally just putting a dot of water on there. Just enough to smooth that edge out as if I was outlining it. And then underneath, I'm going to give the table under here, I'm going to make the tabletop greenish. Actually, if you had red and green, what do you get? You get brown. So we're going to have a little brown here, because you want to show where the bottom of the vase touches the tabletop. So it's kind of a greenish brown. I need just a touch more water. I always take and get some of the water off of it. I don't want too much. Okay. And this gives kind of a neat wood green look to it. To finish it off on the bottom there. Okay. So that's where it's going to be touching the table. It's just for effect. Now over here, if I wanted to make my shadow with the light coming down, I would obviously make it a little darker here. So there's that. Now this is where I absolutely must clean this brush. Just good water there. Okay, this is where we get the highlights part onto the actual vase. You take a little bit of white and you just touch in little spots since I don't actually have a vase in front of me, I know that the light's going to come down. It's going to touch right onto there, maybe a little bit here. This is going to be the dark side. And this actually makes it look glossy. When you're doing glass, you're using white to get that effect, because glass is see-through. So I'm going to have it come around, because a lot of times the light will hit it, it'll come around the base of your vase. We know that we've got the, it's okay if some of the flower color gets in there. Actually makes it look more realistic. And then I'm brushing up to take away some of the paint. Okay, and then I'm going to take one little dab of bright white, and it's going to be just a dot in there. Just like that. And down here on the bottom where the light's hitting it. Doesn't really hit there. Great thing about when you got water-based paints, you can fix boo-boos like that pretty easily. Just cover it up with the red. It might have a little bit of a splash there. And then this back side needs to be darker, so I'm going to darken it up. There's not any light really shining on that part of it, but it is shining over here. And a lot of times when light hits a red kind of vase, you'll see other colors. You'll see peach, you'll see pink, you'll see oranges really come out because of if it's fluorescent light. So you want to kind of blend that out to show that, but have that little tiny bit of that really bright white spot. And we're going to darken this back side up a little bit more. There we go. Because it's not getting as much of the light source. It's basically in shadow. And that is how you would do a glass. I've got a sketch of a wine glass that I did, and basically it's the same thing, only it's black and white. So now you've got your flowers in a dish. You've got your table with the shadow from the plant being, or flowers being above. You have this light that has hit the side of your vase, so you can see that it has a shimmer. This is very simple, and just practice it. Let me know how you do, and show me all your different flowers. I would love to see everybody's different flowers that you come up with. And so have fun, and beginners, get out your paint.